One thing I'm confident of is that Act 5 is a place of praxis. There is this transformation of theology or ideology or belief, whatever the concept is, into embodied practice.
So I thought, great, I'm coming in here and we're going to do historical context, socio-political context, Hebrew, Greek, and we're going to go fast. My first day coming in on a Monday morning, everyone comes downstairs from like just waking up and like making breakfast, and people are like wrapped in blankets, and people have like their cups of coffee and tea, and now we're like breaking bread together and eating it. They're not just here to learn about the Bible together. They're here to like do life together. They're here to come alongside each other. And the beautiful thing is, this is not a university experience. This is something totally different, and that's good. Like, that's a good thing.
For a lot of young adults, when they're at Act 5, they feel safe and secure with friend and mentorship community and pastoral mentorship. They're able to really lean into whatever it is in them that's bubbling up, processing their time in high school, processing their upbringings, processing their relationship with God.
Throughout the year of Act 5, I really learned what it means to wrestle with God. And I think coming into Act 5, I was like, okay, I've been raised in the church. I've professed my faith to Jesus. Like, I know that I love him. But it wasn't like feet on the ground, this is what that actually means now. A point where I was like, hey, what does this mean for me? Like, who is God? Why are my expectations falling down? Like, and yeah, just really learning how to wrestle with him in a true way, in a biblical way, like how to balance being so angry, but also being, you are my God. Like, I can't, how do I balance that?
There is a lot more growth that you might not even realize is possible within you. Like, I think before I came to Act 5 as staff, I was like, oh, I'm not like put together, but I've come away. Like, I've had lots of good learning moments. I've processed most of my childhood. Like, I feel like I'm ready, you know, for the world. And you just don't realize, like, when you're forced to take a step back and just sit for a minute, or like walk alongside somebody else who's learning something new, you're also forced to do the same thing. And it's very eye-opening.
For the most part, our alumni are young people of Christian faith that know how to engage with the world. They don't walk around with an anxiety about the world and the world's scary and we need to change the world, or the world is the opposite of what we're trying to accomplish. They walk around with this confidence and curiosity that I find really beautiful.
Wherever you are, you're going to have like joys and deep sorrow every day. And Act 5 taught me that I can hold both at the same time, that I can celebrate and dance and have like so much joy on these like mountaintop moments, but I also can have space to grieve and lament and give the time that those hard things need. But I can do both because like the story that we're living in, this gospel story, is one of restoration and redemption, and there's so much hope that comes with that. And that's why I have the freedom to hold both. And it's like that hope that I learned that like has changed the way that I live. It's changed my perspective on my year at Act 5, and it's given me a lot of freedom.
A lot of folks have talked to like the young adults that go through this process look a little bit different than a lot of the other young adults that you interact with. And I think that's one of the big things, is that they're young adults that are going, I'm part of something larger than just myself, my own little individual world. I'm part of this great big story that God's been doing in whatever context I'm in, but certainly in the local church in Hamilton, we're seeing the Act 5 ripples.
There are so many young adults in the city and in Hamilton that maybe are not directly involved in Act 5, but have had some kind of contact with the program in some way, and have taken these practices and made them their own, whether it's like new prayer groups happening, or it's like valuing silence and solitude.
I just see like these really cool examples of people who are like bringing heaven to earth. It's like on earth as it is in heaven.
A gap year program and just the fundamentals of what that means, and the space that it allows you to just take and figure out what's going on in yourself, what high school meant, what the rest of your life means, what the present moment means. I think there's a lot of richness in that, just to be able to take a year in between rushing around and doing what the world tells you you need to just keep doing. And I thought that I knew what I wanted to do with my life. I was like, Act 5 is just a stop on the way, but I know where I'm going. And that always definitely changed around. It's not how it ended up being.
The world can preach like, these are the steps after university, or like, this is the measure of success, or like, these are the things you have to tick off in your 20s, or whatever list you want to say. And I think sometimes gap years don't fall on that list. And I think we just need to like kibosh that.
Yeah, do something very countercultural, something that's not very often done, and say, no, I'm gonna take some time to process. The richness of what that's meant for me has been beautiful, and I think that applies to every single person graduating high school. Or yeah, wherever you are in your life, I think that it's important to take that time and really just delve into, yeah, the truth of being where your feet are.
What I love about Act 5 and what's drawn me into it is that I just see this Jesus model. Like, I see young people that are living 24/7 in this, like, figuring out of what does it mean to follow Jesus and what does it mean to be a disciple of Jesus. You know, if you're listening to this and that's you and you're going, is Act 5 for me? Ask yourself whether or not you want to A, follow Jesus, which means B, becoming like Jesus. If you want to become like the person of Jesus, this is a program for you. I believe that fully, entirely. That's why I've become involved in the program. And if you don't want to become like the person of Jesus and you come, it'll probably happen anyway. That's like from the stories that I've heard, which is great, but count the cost, but know that the cost is worth it. The cost is absolutely worth it to come